We hear about law of attraction and we believe we can have anything we want in life. But then many of us find ourselves stuck in the gap between our desires and our current reality, waiting sometimes desperately for our manifestations to come true. We may want to experience true love while we can't even get a date. We may want to live in a mansion while we can't even comfortably pay the rent for our room. And we suffer a lot because we are waiting for something that deep down we believe we are unlikely to have. We are at this point conflicted. But is the solution to give up on our new reality like many others do? Let's talk about this today and talk about how this suffering happens, how we can end it and shift into our new reality. After learning about law of attraction, I was in the gap between my reality and my desires for a few years, and I know how painful it is. In learning about law of attraction, I also learned that I needed to raise my vibration to get what I wanted. But when I was in that gap, waiting for my manifestations to come true, I became an emotional mess. And with that much negativity, I couldn't possibly be positive and raise my vibration. In that gap, every action seemed scary and I was stuck in my current reality. The more I thought about what I wanted, the more desperate and negative I got. And then it seemed that like even the things that I used to have ran away from me. Until I realized that this waiting for my manifestation had polluted everything in my life. My every day and every moment had turned into a mean to get to a future that deep down I didn't believe I could have. Sounds familiar? Share in the comments below. Also share if you have found your way out of that situation. And the other thing in that situation is that we live in a culture that promotes that waiting. Even before I heard about law of attraction, like many others, I was always waiting for something to happen and then be happy. In religion, we wait for a savior to come and save us from our problematic life. In everyday life, we wait for attending college, graduation, falling in love, getting married, finding a dream job, having children, retirement, and so on to finally one day live a happy life. We are always waiting. To find a solution, let's start with answering this question. Why do we want that mansion? Why do we want that lover and so on? The truth is, what we truly want is the feeling we think we'll have by living in that mansion, by being with that lover. So we wait for these things to happen in our life, and then we could have those feelings and live happily ever after. But we have to wait for these things to happen, and that waiting makes us suffer. If we understand that we could have those feelings even before those things happen, then we can finally stop waiting and start living. Waiting is a mental state that never helps. The key to moving away from waiting and shifting into a joyful reality is to let go and surrender to what is coming. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on our desires. Letting go means letting go of our attachment to our desires and not being able to live in the moment. When we live in the now and only momentarily focus on our goals and desires, we easily move up in the emotional scale and get closer and closer to the vibrational frequency of what we want. How to do that? For any aspect of your life that you want to change, as you use manifestation techniques to shift into your new reality, takes the very first action that comes to your mind that you think is going to improve your situation. And try to enjoy every step of that action. This action doesn't have to be something big and scary that gives you your desire tomorrow or your manifestation tomorrow, but it can be just attending a course that you have been postponing or sending an email to someone. This helps you feel like you are not stuck anymore and you are making some progress no matter how small. When you feel like you are making some progress, that raises your vibration and gets you closer to the feeling or vibrational frequency of your desire. The secret to the shift you want is the feeling, as Neville Goddard titled his famous book, Feeling is the Secret. Even if the action you took turns out not to be the best action, you learn the lessons and move on from a place of knowing, which is much better place than desperation and being stuck. If you hadn't taken that action, how would you know? It may feel scary, but do it anyway. Here comes the most important part. When you use those techniques or take action, surrender the result. Let go of your attachment to the result of that technique or that action. Yes, it takes some practice, but it will free you forever. Insistence and desperation only brings about upset and frustration. If no action is possible for you right now, just change your perception around the situation you are dealing with. What does that do for us? When we change our perception, we get to feel better about that situation. And as we feel better, our vibrational frequency changes and we get closer to the vibrational frequency of the solution or desired situation. If you needed some example for this, please let me know in the comments. If I can be honest with you, I need to say that I don't use manifestations techniques that much anymore, because the more I practice letting go, the more I receive images of my dream life naturally, without trying to force an image in my visualization. But even when I visualize, I say this phrase that I learned many years ago. The phrase is, when I do the visualization, I say this or something better than this. That helps me to surrender to what the universe has in store for me, which is definitely much more fabulous than the things I thought I wanted with my human mind. When we surrender, we are actually surrendering our resistance to what is coming. Then we are not stuck in that waiting period. Instead, we are practicing trust. Trusting the laws of the universe means understanding that there are no mistakes and everything unfolds as it should. As we move forward, our feelings about the situation change and we become more open to positive changes. Whether you believe it or not, miracles are a logical and law-based process that can only happen through surrender. Embrace them. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do. I appreciate your support. Until next time.